Have you ever had someone try and tell you that racism doesn't exist? Well, here's why they're wrong. All right, today we're gonna go through some of the most common excuses used to deny racism. Let's take a look.
We have a black president, so racism, poof.
There's no denying that the election of President Barack Obama was a huge sign of progress, but it didn't stop anyone from making racist jokes and memes about the first family. Plus, Obama's first term was surrounded by rumors that he wasn't really American and that he was a Kenyan Muslim out to destroy America.
Bring me the secret Muslim birth certificate.
Which, by the way, is a bogus conspiracy theory rooted in racism and more specifically, Islamophobia.
Oh, racism? Then what about Oprah?
Boom. Let's put this to rest once and for all. Will Smith saved us from aliens, not racism. One person overcoming incredible obstacles doesn't make those obstacles disappear for everyone else. That's like saying, J.K. Rowling was a single mom on welfare and now she's a billionaire. Dismantle all government assistance. Hey, my family never owned slaves. Never. We were allergic. Okay. Time for an analogy. If your dad's Tony Soprano, then the house you live in, the car you drive, and your iPhone was paid for with mob violence. You're not responsible for it, but you're definitely benefiting.
Look, I didn't rob the bank, but I'm definitely spending the money, okay?
You or your family didn't have to have owned slaves in order to benefit from slavery. Denying the rights of black people resulted in increased wealth, opportunities, and advancement for all white people, even if they didn't directly participate in slavery themselves. Excuse me, the Irish, they were also slaves, so. First of all, no. While it's true that Irish immigrants were often discriminated against in the United States, many came to America as indentured servants, which isn't slavery. And while the Irish started as an oppressed group in America, they were able to shed their minority status and become white, largely by joining in on the oppression of black people, often through violence.
Ooh. What privilege? I worked my ass off to get where I'm at.
I know. No one is saying that you didn't work hard. In reality, everyone has some degree of privilege. White privilege doesn't mean you've had it easy. It just means that you don't have to deal with structural racism. Just like as a straight person, I don't have to deal with homophobia. Now, classism, that's the issue, not race. Poverty sucks for everyone, but racism and classism aren't interchangeable. You can change your class, but you can't change your race. Not to mention poor people of color have to deal with classism and racism. Add to that, things like housing and job discrimination are usually the reason many people of color are in poverty in the first place.
Excuse me, I have friends/family/dated someone of that race.
Who you're friends with, related to, or in a relationship with doesn't keep you from being responsible for your actions. If you say or do something racist, you have to deal with the consequences.
Look, my black and or Latino and or Asian and or Native American friend does not care when I use that slur.
Look, one person can't speak for an entire group of people. So if your friend is okay with using certain language around them, you can't expect everyone that shares their background to have the same opinion on it. Hey, everybody listen up. I got an announcement. Bobby Lee White is now allowed to say the N-word. We decided. Yeah, we did. I got 4 words for you. Black on black crime. Okay, here's the thing. If you're a victim of a crime, chances are the criminal is most likely going to look like you. In fact, 83% of white murder victims were killed by other white people. So in reality, black on black crime is no more of a real thing than white on white crime. Look, racism is never gonna go away if you keep freaking talking about it. Let's just think about that one for a second. Have you ever solved a significant problem in your life by ignoring it?
That's what I do with my taxes. It worked for Wesley Snipes.
Oh wait, it didn't? I gotta go. So what are some of the worst excuses you've heard to deny racism? Tell us in the comments and we will see you next week. Last week we did a sketch called, Was That Racist? Here are some of your comments. You know, right, even though we were just acting, I was starting to get really pissed off at that guy. You know what? No! Your mom sounds freaking awesome. You know what, Dina? I can totally empathize. It's getting harder and harder to stay hopeful in these situations. Hang in there. And 2 weeks ago in our vlog, we asked how to handle racist jokes. Here are your suggestions. Wow, Arts Freak, you have the patience of a saint. 15 comments? I would have stopped at 5. Yes, 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 Chris Dance, please show this video to all racist joke offenders. Forever Dreamy, I always tell those people that are so oppressed by not being able to make racist jokes that freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. You know what, Rosa? People of color can make racist jokes too. What I usually do is try to be honest, but also kind of play dumb. I usually say something like, "You can't really feel that way, do you?" And then I explain why it makes me uncomfortable. And then I just ask if they can stop telling them around me.